Okay, I'm gonna shut this. If anybody else comes in, then they're more than welcome to join us. I'll be in midstream by, but y'all know the topic of conversation. I've entitled this, Look Good, Feel Good, and Get Healthy. And I think the third thing there is the most important thing. Because it's great to lose weight so you look better in your clothes or whatever. You want to get your beach body ready for this summer or whatever the case may be. The healthy part is the most impressive about what I'm going to talk about tonight, because we've got some really good true live examples. Is that your husband?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's his name?
Greg.
Greg,
Norman.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Norman.
We met.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Okay, so this is the first slide. It's called Look Good, Feel Good, Get Healthy. You haven't missed anything. But get healthy is the most important one, and you'll see why I'm going to get to that in just a minute. So it is a weight loss workshop, and it's all about semaglutide. How many of you have ever heard of semaglutide? Okay, most people say I've never heard of it, or they've heard it in social media. But as we learn more about it tonight, you'll understand that this is not only an amazing product, but it's kind of changing the entire weight loss industry. I'm talking Weight Watchers is adopting this. Soda weight loss clinics around Dallas are adopting this because you can't compete with it. You got, if you can't beat them, join them. They had to join them. So what is semaglutide? It's a medicine used for weight loss that lowers sugar levels and reduces the risk of major cardiovascular events. So when this first came out, it was a diabetic medicine. Type 2 diabetics got on this, lowered their A1C. That was it. It was treating diabetes. Then when clinical trials started happening, which I'm going to talk to you about, people started losing weight. And so they did more research. They found out that it's a GLP-1 agonist, which is a glucagon-like peptide, and it works by increasing insulin release, good for the diabetic, lowering the amount of glucagon released, and delaying gastric emptying and reducing appetite. What does that last line mean, delaying gastric emptying? Well, it means this. It causes food to stay in your stomach longer, so you stop eating. That's what the results of this medication do for people. And it's also an appetite suppressant, so you just don't feel like eating as much. So as we tell you more about it, how much weight could a person lose? Well, here is the actual stats. 15% of total body weight lost without major lifestyle change. Literally by taking this medication, they're losing 15% of their total body weight. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's 30 pounds weight loss over time. So, how do you take it? I'm trying to answer the most common questions here at the beginning of this thing. But here's how you take it. A self-administered weekly subcutaneous injection with a teeny tiny 27 gauge needle that diabetics use to give insulin. Here's what it is. I'll unplug it so you can see. Up against my blue, maybe you can see.
No, super tiny.
You can't even feel it, right? So you feel it when you stick yourself in the finger when you don't get this back on. Which I did
That's what
once.
you think.
So that's how you give it. It's the same way that you would give yourself a testosterone injection. It's the same way diabetics give themselves insulin, right? You rotate sides and you put it in subcutaneous fat. As long as the needle's inside the skin, you're good to inject. It doesn't have to go intramuscular, which means you put it in your deltoid or in your butt, and those are painful shots. This is not painful at all. You pinch it up and you go, okay, I didn't feel it. That's how it works. So here's the study. This is kind of the hang your hat on this. They took 2,000 obese, non-diabetic people. 2/3 of that 2,000, roughly 1,300 or so, they gave them semaglutide weekly. The other third, they gave them an injection of nothing, saline, right? And they were all on this study together. It's a gold standard study. It means it's double-blind, placebo-based. No one knows what they're doing it for. And here's what they found. Well, actually, all 2,000 participated in a minimal diet and exercise program. So these people had a clue that it was something to do with their health and weight loss. But they didn't get put on exercise programs. They didn't get restricted calorie diets. They didn't get anything else. All these 2,000 people lived the same exact lifestyle. And those that were on the semaglutide, the 2/3 that took it weekly, lost significantly more weight than those who were given. Well, what is significantly? Half of them lost 15% of their body weight, and a third of them lost 20% of their body weight. So if they weighed 200, they lost 40 pounds instead of 30. And those in the placebo group that just got their weekly shot of nothing, they lost 2.4% of their body weight. So by standards of a study like this, when 2,000 people all do the same thing, and they all take a shot weekly, and then this group lost weight, 30 to 40%, 15 to 20% of their body weight, and this group lost 2.4%. That was what caused the FDA to put the approval on this medication for weight loss patients, not for diabetic patients. It still has all the positive things that it gives a diabetic with lowered A1C, decreased risk for cardiovascular events, but now they're starting to lose weight. So, a viral momentum, this is important because about a year and a half ago is when this very first came out as FDA approved for weight loss. And so people started getting on it. The most famous semaglutide recipient was a girl by the last name of Kardashian. And she went from overweight to skinny. And it went viral. She started posting all of her 25 million Instagram watchers that she was losing weight and how. And so it started to sell out in all of these pharmacies. Y'all know this guy, he's in a bunch of movies. He's in a new Netflix movie right now. And he was huge. This guy was a very, very, very large guy, all semaglutide related, just over time. And then our favorite teenage witch, she's an actress as well. So these people, it spread like wildfire through Hollywood first. And then it's like, well, they're on some fad diet. And they started saying, no, we're actually on this medication. We do nothing else different. We aren't crash dieting. We aren't changing everything about our lifestyle. We aren't working out 3 times a day. And so it started hitting the news cycles like Good Morning America and the Today Show and all these things. This was about a year and a half ago, less than a year and a half ago, a year and maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And then it started to sell out in all the pharmacies because everyone's going into the doctor saying, I want this medication that is working. So those are celebrities, but these are some more closer to home people. These are actual patients at the clinic. This is Maggie B. She lost 15 pounds in her first 4 injections, because it's weekly. In 4 weeks, she was down 15 pounds. No lifestyle change. And this one's my favorite because this is my sister-in-law, Tracy Usselton. She lost 55 pounds since September. And more importantly, she started crying when she told me this, when I saw her at a funeral about a month and a half ago. She said, more importantly than me losing 55 pounds is the fact that I'm no longer taking 3 medications that I was once told I'd be on for the rest of my life. Okay? And she said today on the phone to me when I said, can I have your permission to put your picture in my presentation? She said, yes, but I was about to get on blood pressure meds. My doctor wanted me on them back in August of last year. And then I started this in about September and the weight started coming off. And she said I'm about 10 pounds from my ideal goal weight right now. She's actually lost more closer, she told me on the phone today, about 63 or 64 pounds right now, not 55. Her top weight was 210 or something like that, and she's like 150, and a different person. I mean, a different person. She doesn't take her high cholesterol meds, her torvastatin calcium, Lipitor type drug. She doesn't take her diabetic, her metformin, and she doesn't, she used to take stuff to help her sleep. But when she lost the weight, she doesn't do that anymore. So her thing was, yeah, the weight is great. I like the way I look, but this was way more important to me than the other stuff. So that's why I titled this, Get Skinny, Lose Weight, but Get Healthy. Because she's not on medications that was controlling her. And she doesn't need that control anymore. And all taken off by her doctor. So what's the catch? It sounds too good to be true. Anything that's too good, I always was taught anything that's too good to be true is too good to be true. And now I'm starting to see these patients. Now we're doing dozens and dozens of people and we're all losing weight on weekly check-ins. So what's the catch? Well, I did figure out the catch, because when it went crazy viral, what did that do to the price?
Jacked it up.
Oh my gosh. Does anybody have the GoodRx app on their phone?
Oh, no.
Okay, well you don't have to download it now, unless you have it.
I have it.
You have it?
No.
Okay. Well, this is sold on in pharmacies as
Really?
Yeah, semaglutide. You can buy it at pharmacy. It's sold as Wegovy. So open up your app for GoodRx, and if you can find it.
Here it is.
Yep, and now I will give you a search bar to say, look up the medication. Search, Wegovy, W-E-G-O-V-Y.
It says I only have one bar.
Oh, no.
So it's kinda slow.
Well, if you don't,
Oh,
you'll
there we
have
go.
to take my word for it, because I'm about to give you the answer that you're about to find, unless it changed.
Now, let's see, Wegovy. where is it?
W-E-G-O-V-Y.
I can find where it.
No pressure. Yeah, search right here. And now type in Wegovy right there.
G-O-V-E,
W-E-G-O-V-Y.
G-O-V.
Wegovy. W-E-G-O-V-Y. Did it come up?
Well, it's trying to.
Okay.
2 milligrams.
Where? Did it not take it?
I don't know. W-E-G-O-V-Y. If I could get my fat fingers to type the right letters. Return. Wegovy.
Oh, see,
Okay.
you found it.
No, I don't, it's
There
loaded.
it goes.
Wegovy. All right.
Okay,
Now, there's the prices of that medication, and that is a month's supply, and they're listed at all the places you can get it. Walgreens, CVS, Walmart. What is the price?
Walgreens is $1,400.
$1,400. I told you, going viral did something to the price, and it made
Yeah.
it scarce.
Whoa, yeah.
And it
That's a
made
month worth?
diabetics get
A
all
month,
scared that they
yeah.
aren't gonna get their medication to lower their A1C because everyone's using it for weight loss.
Mhm.
And my argument is, yeah, but the people that are losing weight are gonna be diabetic if they don't lose some
Right,
weight.
right,
So it's
yeah.
kinda helping everyone. But yeah, it went to $1,400. That is the catch. That's the problem. So what did we do? We found a compounding pharmacy that gets the raw material that Wegovy brand gets from China, and they compound it, and they give us pure, straight Wegovy at a fraction of the price. Okay, so our weight loss program looks like this. It starts with labs. Now, why does it start with labs? Can anyone get on Wegovy? The answer is no, because if you have bad thyroid condition, your thyroid stimulating hormone is out of whack, this won't help you. You will
Right.
feel like banging your head against the wall because it works for everyone but me. Well, that's because something's jacked up on your labs. Another thing is if your hormones are jacked, like if your hormones aren't regulated properly, if you're menopausal, if you've gone through all these changes and you're not at optimal hormone levels, this stuff doesn't work. And so we've got to rule those out so that we can say you are a good candidate for it. So here's what the labs look like. It's a complete HRT profile. That stands for hormone replacement therapy. Like, what would I need? How are my estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all those levels? It also gives us a metabolic panel, and that would be like your cholesterol. Actually, that's a lipid panel. Yeah, no, that's it. Lipids, triglycerides. Metabolic panel is your cholesterol, HDL, LDL, all those things. It also tells us our B12 level. Most people are deficient in B12. A lot of people are deficient in D3, and that's a big culprit. That's why a lot of people, this was one of the most common findings in the whole COVID pandemic. People with low D3 didn't do as well when they got COVID as people that supplemented D3. You get D3 from the sun.
Right.
Alpha 2,5-hydroxy serum gets produced in your bloodstream when you're exposed to UV light. And so you start producing this serum that converts to D3. And most of the time, the study done in 2017, long before COVID, was that most average Americans are deficient in D3 because they're too far north of the Tropic of Cancer, which is a horizontal latitudinal line above the equator. If we lived on the equator, we would have enough D3. We live in North America, we have very little D3 because we're too far from the sun.
Wow.
People that live in Alaska when it's dark half of the year, they got 0 D3. You know what D3 relates to? Depression, back pain, weight gain. All of these functions of low D3 go against us. So we need to be, the study said that we need to be in the sun for 20 minutes a day year round. And we don't get that. We
But-
cover up when we do get in the sun,
But
especially
even
Texas.
so, but even so, it's not enough.
It's not enough, yeah. The average American is deficient. Average. So some people get it, and you see those. They're all super duper tan folks, you know, if they aren't spraying on the tan. But yeah, D3 is a big one, and this tells us that. The CBC, that's just telling us if there's any infection that's undetected in your body, your white blood cell versus your red blood cell counts. The lipid panel, I talked about that. That's your triglycerides and that sort of thing. Cortisol, that's important for a hormone that helps you sleep. If that's down because you're stressed, you don't sleep as good. So it tells us that. Progesterone is another one. And if you did all of these individually, for the men, the profile, it's a different price for men and women because women have to check progesterone and estrogen, and men just check testosterone and estrogen. They don't check the progesterone. But it's about a $2,200 value if you went to your doctor and said, I want all these tests done. We have a deal with a LabCorp, and they give it to us at a much discounted rate. So our program looks like this. The initial labs cost $209 for that entire profile, that whole panel, right? And the program itself, if there's nothing wrong with your thyroid, if there's nothing wrong with your hormone levels and you're not jacked on those two things, then you get on the semaglutide like all the patients that are on it now, and you pay it's $800 instead of $1,400 per month. That would be $2,800 with this is $800. That's the savings. And then it goes way down to $199 a month, right? Because we start buying bigger quantities of it. And you can be on this as long as you're losing weight. I'm talking people, in that study, some people were on 18 months to lose 40% of their body weight, 30% of their body weight. I keep saying it wrong. So, then also, what I like to throw in is what I call my personal cheat sheets, and I've got them here. Here's a good one that I've created, the 5 foods to avoid while on semaglutide, and they're all spelled out why. And then the other one is the compounding effects protocol. And so this would be, if you say, you know, I do want to do this, but I want to get healthy too. I don't want to eat fried fatty foods and then expect this medication to work overtime to help me lose weight when I could help it by eating a little cleaner. Well, those are the helpful hints that have made people succeed at a higher rate than 15% of their total body weight over that amount of time. So that's that. The special offer that I offer for people that attend this group is if you decide to sign up, you're going to get 3 special bonuses, all right? So I've tried to do my best to make this a no-brainer for you. And the first bonus, again, this is tonight only, is you get labs for $109 instead of $209. You save $100 on the initial labs. That's less than my cost to the LabCorp, right? Because that's how much I want people to do this. This is the way I grow my business too. And this is the way people get on this product and then refer their friends over here, and then I start kicking them back little discounts because we're growing that way. Bonus number 2 is you get the first 2 months of semaglutide for $6.99 and not $7.99. And there actually is the $100 savings there. So we're at $200 of bonus. And the third one is the first month that you're on the semaglutide, you'll get 4 additional B12 shots. And those will be done here in the office by our nurse practitioner as she's coaching you on the weight loss program, right? So you get that accountability. So the way this all works, if we'll kind of back up a little bit, is if you say, I want this, we actually take your money and send you a script via email. You don't even need the script because once we put it in LabCorp system, you can show up at any LabCorp with your ID and they say, we got your script here. It's a lab requisition, okay? And that lab requisition will cause them to take all these vials of blood from you, and it's got to be after a fast. You need to have not eaten for about 8 hours because of the triglycerides. Those will be through the roof if you eat any food or drink coffee or whatever. So no wine, no nothing, 8 hours of nothing but water. So do it in the morning, go get your labs done, and then have your breakfast or whatever. The other good thing about LabCorp is you can go to any LabCorp except for a LabCorp that's connected to a hospital. And in Carrollton, we're blessed because our Walgreens on Frankfurt and Josie has a LabCorp inside of it.
Oh, really?
And there's no appointment necessary. Now, sometimes that'll bite you in the butt because you'll go over there in the morning and there'll be 5 people waiting. But you can get online at labcorp.com, put in the zip code, enter, it'll say, whoop, would you like an appointment? Yes, what time? 10 a.m., boom, you're there. And then when you show up for your appointment and there's a bunch of people waiting, you go right in front of them because you got an appointment. So I've done both ways. I've waited for my labs at that LabCorp, and I've gone in with an appointment and skipped everyone. And they're like, what did you do? I'm like, I got online like you should have. So that is the easiness of it. And then those lab results come here. You don't pay LabCorp anything. You're buying labs from us. we have a deal with them to get them at that price. If you went in to pay LabCorp, they'd charge you way more than that. And so we have a collective bargaining thing where me and a bunch of doctors like me nationwide are in a group that gets a much heavier discount at LabCorp. So it's easy. We're trying to make this fast and easy, which you typically don't get. You get one or the other, but we're making it fast and easy. Once we get those lab results back, our nurse practitioner will sit down and go over them, and then she'll call you. Actually, my team will call you and say, hey, we got your results back in the office. When's a good time for you to have about a 15-minute conversation or less with our nurse practitioner? She's ready for you. You'll say, how about Tuesday at 2? And then your phone will ring Tuesday at 2 because my nurse practitioner will be saying, I got your labs in front of me, here's what we got to do. Boom, 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 boom. If there's a need for you to get on a thyroid medication, I'm a chiropractor, we're not big into medicine. However, I do take a Armor thyroid myself because I got my lab works done and my thyroid was low. It was inactive. What does that cause?
Weight gain.
Weight gain, absolutely. That thyroid is your furnace, like in this room right now almost. Thyroid is what burns. It's your metabolism. And if it's suffering, you can do everything you want to speed your metabolism up, but until you get it up a notch, it won't work as well for you. So I discovered that mine was. So what do we use? We don't use Synthroid. We don't use some synthetic. We don't use something with an extra hydrogen that causes breast cancer or ovarian cancer, all those things associated with thyroid medication. We use Armor thyroid. Armor thyroid is broken down as bioidentical to the thyroid your body already produces. People say, oh, well, I'm all natural. Like, okay, well, so what does that mean? You eat kale? Because your body don't make kale. That ain't natural. Your body makes thyroid, and we're putting it right back in. So when you understand kind of the philosophy of, yeah, if I want my metabolism to burn better and I take one little pill that's specifically the same bioidentical hormone as I'm already got, that I'm deficient in, can't get more natural than that.
So what
Kale
if
won't
you
convert
take
to it.
Synthroid like I did?
Synthroid is the one that's synthetic. So that's the one you gotta be careful of. You gotta talk to your doctor and say, what are my chances of getting on Armor thyroid? It's a much, much healthier way to go.
Okay.
That's just my 2 cents. But if you need a thyroid medication, because your labs come back as a low thyroid, you can get on semaglutide or semaglutide, however you want to say it, but you got to get on something to make your thyroid work too, or else the semaglutide won't work. But if your thyroid's working good, it will. So then if there's an extra prescription for like a thyroid, it's very cheap. It may be a subscription of like $50 a month or less to get on that, and it just comes to you in the mail like clockwork. And so then once you get all those things ironed out and you get on the semaglutide, you get all this welcome packet from us. You get taught how to do it. What is aseptic technique on using a needle and throwing it away and properly not getting contamination and all that, like every diabetic goes through. A little training on how to give yourself a shot. But then after that, it's easy. Like my soon-to-be sister-in-law, who's on there, she was very, very nervous when she first started. I can't give myself a shot. And then after the second or third time, she's like, I don't feel it. It's like no big deal. And so anyway, but we coached them, and I shot videos of me giving myself shots, and I did all this stuff to help train her. But then you literally go from that to getting on the scale every day, and then every Monday at the same time giving yourself a shot. And if you follow these things at all, it happens very, very quickly. That's how 15 pounds in 1 month can actually happen. So that's kind of where we're at with that. You get these 3 bonuses. If you are interested in doing that, then I'll help you do that, because we can do it from this very room. You don't have to go to the front and stand in line or do anything like that. I try and make it simple and easy. So if you think that's something you want to do, then let's do it. If you have questions, that's what we're here for right now, is to answer some questions. And I'm actually going to turn this off now.
I was gonna mention, can you go back to the category where you had all the things that are